Welcome everybody to another GameList mini. We've had a couple GameList minis already in the last week or two. A couple GameList Max. I'm Jake. This is Kaulin. Kaulin, how you doing?
I'm Kaulin. I'm doing great, man. I'm excited. I think I'm gonna lose our bet, but I'm excited.
I think you're gonna lose our bet too. This is the Final Fantasy VII anniversary event.
Yeah.
Now, it's only a 10-minute showcase. We're going to stream the whole thing. We've got about 15 minutes to go until showtime. But in that time, we're going to talk predictions. We're going to talk hopes and dreams. We're going to talk about our bet that's lingering in this. If you are not familiar with our show, GameList is a podcast about video games, news, what we're playing. Kaulin and I run down all the stuff that we've been playing and all the video game news of the last month. It's a monthly show, monthly podcast. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on your favorite podcast app. This is a special event. If you're watching this live, thank you. We're live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JakeTwitchin, like twitching with no G. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're on Kaulin's YouTube channel. If you haven't found us elsewhere, just go follow one or the other of us, or subscribe, leave us a review, hit the thumbs up button. You know, help us out. We'll be back this weekend, actually, a couple days from now, doing a full breakdown of all of the events on this Key 3. Is that what we're landing on? The Key 3?
I think so. I think Key 3, that GameSpot, like...
they got the shirts, right?
Lucy James.
Yeah, that's right.
And Timur.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Who are now part of Giant Bomb, by the way. That's a little side note.
Giant Bomb.
Reichert's back. The video game podcast world has had some shakeups, but don't worry, GameList is here to stay. We're one of the big boys now.
Yeah. They don't know it yet, but we are.
Oh yeah. They'll be watching this, taking notes, and then stealing all of our sweet hot takes and ideas for their own reaction streams next week. Yeah. That's how it works. They take from the little guys.
Let's hope they show the pre-show as well, you know?
So we got our live chat going. The main thing that we're going over today is basically quick hopes and expectations for this event. Now, Kaulin, you had the line on this earlier. You had read off what this is described as being, correct? You have that handy still? It was like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. It is here, I'm just scrolling up real quick. It is a stream that is short and sweet, with lots of information. Okay,
so there's a lot of rumors floating around. The main rumors, obviously, everyone's head goes to Final Fantasy VII Remake 2. But this is a Final Fantasy VII, it's being billed as the Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary celebration. I can bring up the thumbnail here. I have the live stream up. It's ready to go in 12 minutes. It says premiere on YouTube. We'll get that popping when it's time. In the meantime, I'll bring up some other trailers from years past. So let's take a little bit of a trip down memory lane, and I'll mute the sound for this for right now, and just talk about the reveal of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Do you remember how this came about? I think it was like E3 or maybe like not Summer Games Fest. It was something in 2015, E3 2015. There was no Summer Game Fest back then. And the game was announced, and then they went silent for like 3 or 4 years until it resurfaced. There was a bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes.
They like rebuilt a lot of it too.
The team that was working on it got taken off of it, for sure. They're going to show us all 500 versions of Final Fantasy VII leading up to the remake. That's entirely possible.
Probably.
But the 7 remake development was a little shitty, and there was no word on this game for many years until it reared its head again, and then was pretty much ready to go within a year or two after that kind of re-announcement. Game came out, it was fantastic. They had another trailer a while after. It was E3 2019, the last real E3, where they showed the game off again, and it was looking a lot better. Actual playable cutscenes, the whole 9 yards. After that, 7 Remake releases. It's fucking awesome. They announced 7 Remake Intergrade about a year and a half ago to come out on PlayStation 5 and Epic Game Store. That game is still unavailable on other platforms, often rumored to be coming to them. Which brings me to my first prediction. Do you think 7 Remake hits other consoles today, or is announced to be coming to?
I think so. I think it's got to be, right? It's time, I would think.
The original thought was that there was a 1-year exclusivity deal with PlayStation, console launch exclusive. And that year came and went and there was nothing. Then they announced Remake Integrate and they said, okay, it's another year. Then that time came and went and there's been nothing. It did come out on Epic Game Store in the meantime to PC, but it's still vacant from Steam, Xbox, Switch, not available anywhere else.
So what? Maybe we're getting like Intergrade Part 2, and then it's another year.
That's honestly a huge possibility, and I think that would be a really hot take if that came through. And I don't think it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think what they did with Integrate, if you're not familiar with Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, it was the DLC portion. It's an additional 2 chapters. It's about 4 to 6 hours long, and it's the introduction to Yuffie. It takes place at the same time and intertwines with the story of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And it sort of lays the groundwork for an additional party member that will obviously be a huge part of the 7 Remake series going forward, and is a huge part of the original game. So there's other characters that they could easily do that for. The question is, now that they've laid the groundwork for introducing these characters via separate episodes, I'm sure Remake 2 introduces some for the first time, and you're just like, hey, they're your new party members. But I think for other characters like Vincent or Sid, even Kate Sith, depends on how you want to pronounce it, there's the opportunity that
wait, people can pronounce it Catshi?
Catshi is the correct way to pronounce it. It's spelled it's Caitshith, I believe, and I think that's pronounced
it's Kate Sith. No,
listen,
ain't nobody pronouncing it that way.
There was a whole bunch of people that pronounced things Mako and Aerith before Final Fantasy VII Remake, and now the whole world is on the Aerith train and the Mako train.
Why would anyone ever say Eris? There's
that's clearly
a
spelled.
TH.
No. In the original translation, Aerith was the name of Aerith in the Japanese version, and in the translation, she came over and it was Aeris, Aeris.
Oh.
And then they not retconned it, but they did a better translation job for
that's weird.
Final Fantasy VII. Yeah.
Why would you translate a name? Normally names are just names, right? Like when I translate my name to Japanese, I'm not, or like French, I don't say Je m'appelle Kal-El, I say Je m'appelle Kaulin, right?
Kaulin-chan, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it all works.
Kaulin-san? Kaulin-san?
That's right. So 7 Remake Integrate out, released. There is another lingering Final Fantasy VII video game that we haven't talked about. They have Final Fantasy VII First Soldier, which is the mobile battle royale. I could see that potentially coming to consoles. I put in more hours than I'd like to admit on it, but it's, in the long run, it's a mobile battle royale game, so you kind of know what you're getting into. It's serviceable, but not something that I'm really interested in playing. And then there is Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. So Ever Crisis was the announced
I remember when this was announced, but I don't remember.
It's a mobile game and it's episodic, where the first part is free, and it follows the story of Final Fantasy VII more closely than Remake does, and apparently also loops in not only 7, but also 7 Remake, 7 Remake Integrate. It loops in Dirge of Cerberus, the PS2 third-person shooter game that came after. Loops in Advent Children. It loops in a bunch of the anime. It's supposed to be like a full compendium of all Final Fantasy VII, what do they call it? The chronology of Final Fantasy VII. It's crazy. But there's been no word on this since the initial announcement, and I think it's really cool. I think it's something that I would obviously love to fucking play, and I would love to see more on. So perhaps we'll see that today. But then there are 2 other things that need to be talked about. Obviously, one is 7 Remake 2, and we have to talk about our bet. But we also need to talk about, today a rumor cropped up about a Crisis Core remake. I don't know if it's a remake or a port or a remaster, but Crisis Core was muttered once again. I don't know what this will mean, but that game is truly the actual prequel to Final Fantasy VII. It's completely canon. It came out on the PSP in like 2006. Does that sound right for a PSP game?
2000. What year is that?
I'm spitballing.
Yeah, 2006 sounds about right.
Yeah. So it's a very, very good game, but it's been locked in time for quite a while, where this has basically not been accessible to anybody outside of downloadable via PSP and Vita. So that would be, I think that's something that people have clamored for quite a bit, and I would love to see here. And as far as our bet goes, if they announce that, I'm counting it.
Oh no, that doesn't count.
Here we go. I don't want to talk about our existing bet that we already have to argue about. We'll save that for GameList proper right now.
Literally, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have the clips pulled up for the exact wording of our bets.
Sorry, I actually do all of the video pulling up and whatnot here on my end, so we'll see if we can patch that in. We'll see what we can do.
You're gonna edit it.
The bad thing is that the thing that we're arguing about the most for our bets are the two with like the least stakes. It's like, what show are we gonna make together? We'll probably end up making both shows in due time. And then who's gonna not be able to say a thing for an episode of the podcast, which we're probably gonna end up meeting halfway on, and each have to not say a thing for one episode.
Who said that? I have evidence.
We'll get there.
Right
and then it comes down to the one that I already blatantly lost. They didn't name Elder Scrolls, which I now have to play fucking Dishonored. I really fucked up on my bets. The stakes were all off. I lost the worst one that I could fucking lose. I'm playing Dishonored. I liked it when I started. I hate it already. I'm like 3 hours in. Well, we'll get there. That's on GameList proper. The one thing that I want to talk about, because we haven't talked about it all that much, Final Fantasy VII has come up on GameList a fair amount. We'll talk about it on like the actual show, obviously, when we cover this news in the episode that comes out in a couple days. But I think it's worth noting to our listeners, I fucking love Final Fantasy VII. They know I love Final Fantasy, but I love Final Fantasy VII.
God.
This shit is like highly...
ever.
No, this shit is like highly important to me. I think I talk about a lot of games that I'm really passionate about all the time on this show, and I'm just not positive over the last like 6 months of doing the show that I have properly given the credit that is due to Final Fantasy VII, the original, to Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I adore and is like truly, no hyperbole, like a top 5 Final Fantasy game. I feel like I've talked about Final Fantasy XIV more than any other Final Fantasy because it is the one that I play the most, but this is potentially fucking huge for me. I'm really, really excited to see this. The one thing that I want to ask you before we get started, we got like 2 minutes, 3 minutes here, is your quick history with Final Fantasy VII. Have you played the original?
No. I played a little bit.
Remake all the way through.
Yes, I've beaten Remake.
And you were hot on it?
Correct. Yeah, loved it. Great game.
Nice. And then have you played any other Final Fantasy games?
I played 15.
Okay. All the way?
Yep. Got
Not so hot on it?
No, I liked it. I liked
nice.
15 a lot.
I'm a Final Fantasy 15 defender. Is that it? 15 Remake?
Yeah.
This is a spoiler. Our next bet is going to involve Kaulin playing the original Final Fantasy VII.
I did play. Well, I played Final Fantasy VII through like the first boss fight, the original, at like the Scorpion or whatever. And then I played Final Fantasy XIV for a few hours whenever you were getting into it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, cool. Yeah. Cool. So this premieres in 60 seconds. We'll get the desktop audio on. We'll make sure that we're ready to rip. Chat, please help me out. Thank you guys for being patient and sticking with us. Help me out on audio levels as this starts. It's short and sweet.
What are you watching this through?
I'm just right on the Square Enix YouTube page.
Okay. Because the Game Awards one is a little bit behind.
Got it. Yeah, this is like the official, already uploaded type premiere. Who would want to watch a Final Fantasy stream? Treehorn, get out of here. Moderator Treehorn, causing a ruckus. But yeah, as far as the actual presentation goes, business as usual. We'll go, this will be the screen that you see most of the time. If there's something big being shown, we'll go into the full screen so that you guys can all enjoy it. We will do our best to maintain moderate silence, but come on, you're on a reaction stream. We're going to talk over it a little bit. Probably me a little more than Kaulin. I get really excited.
Yeah, you know.
I get really excited, but I am beyond hyped for this right now. I don't know.
I'm excited.
I think even in a worst case scenario, I was saying before this show, even if this is just 10 minutes of Square Enix sucking its own dick about how good Final Fantasy VII is, I'm in. I'm in, baby.
I have to think about this, like, if there were a 10-minute Sly Cooper stream, I'd be losing my crap.
100%. 100%. My
So
my emote, my like pog face as they call it in the industry, is from when they announced the remake Intergrade and they showed Yuffie on screen. I fucking lost my mind. But happy to have you here with me. Pirito in chat says I've only played one Final Fantasy game and that was on the PSP. It was probably Crisis Core, which is rumored to show up here. Oh, cool. We got another countdown.
Oh, I don't even have the countdown yet.
A countdown with no sound. Oh, there is sound.
Oh God, we gotta time it.
I got it juiced though. It's juiced in my headphones.
I need you to count. I think you're gonna actually have to. Or I'm gonna count. You're ahead of me, so I'll count, and then whenever I catch up to you, play it. Okay?
No. I'm not delaying. I'm not delaying for stream. We're giving them the best option. You have to delay to me.
No. But I'm not delayed. That's what I'm saying. Or I am delayed. You are ahead. You know what I'm trying to say?
16, 15, 14.
Oh, see, you're a full 10
13,
seconds ahead of me.
12. Refresh. How come I'm ahead?
I'm just still at 17. I just refreshed as well. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And you're on the square one, right?
Yeah.
This is the worst part about live streaming stuff. It's just, yeah, I'm just now at 59.
Do you want me to share it to you then?
I mean, no, because then I won't have audio. Like your stream is ahead of my YouTube stream by 3 seconds.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm reloading it. 39, 38, 37, 36, 35. How you doing?
Oh, God. I just refreshed it. Now I'm in the 50s. 28, 27, 26,
26,
25.
25. Yeah!
Okay,
Yeah!
it's so stressful to get it like synced, because like if I start screaming at something before you, then it kind of ruins
100%.
it. And then if you start screaming before me, I'm like, what's going on?
The most important part is that we're getting the people the stuff on time. I can't be having people get Twitter alerts while they're watching my live stream.
Oh, they can get off their phone. Do you hear the music? The music's
in.
actually pretty good that's playing.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just YouTube Premiere music, but I'm not positive.
Oh.
No, maybe not. It does sound a little epic. Chat, how's that balance? Sounding good? Fuck, it's actually, you're right. This music is intense.
Yeah, and all the squares or half squares on. Did they only put half squares because they sold off half of their company recently?
Big mistake. Yeah. The other half is Enix, actually.
Yeah. Oh,
There's no image for that. So.
What is Enix? What is an Enix?
It used to be Squaresoft and Enix something.
No, well, yeah, but like, what is an Enix? Like, actually, like in real life?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's just the name of a business.
They just came up with a word.
Yeah. 10, 9, 8. All right, baby.
5.
Give me something good. Chat, keep me
excited.
updated on audio. We got you covered.
Rating pending. New game.
That's true. That is true. Oh.
I have
Fuck.
freaking German
This
subtitles
music
on
is
for some
just
reason.
like such cheat codes to feeling emotion for me. I fucking can't. Oof, the Advent Children stuff getting peppered in already.
I can't keep up with these words. It's I don't read that
Advent
way.
Children. Don't you worry.
BEFORE.
Before Crisis. Before Crisis is a mobile game that came out in Japan only, and it's canon.
Okay.
It stars like.
So what you're
Reno
telling me
and Rude.
is they're about to put out a Final Fantasy VII collection of all the Final Fantasy stuff.
Well, that's what Ever Crisis is, so that might be what they're getting at here. I'm boosting the audio a little bit. Let me know if you guys like that or if I should pull it down.
It's making me motion sick, dude. I can't keep up
Dirge
with
of
this.
Cerberus is the PS2 third-person shooter. It's actually a sequel. Stars Vincent. Oh, baby. So good.
Well, it just wasted 2.5 minutes up there.
We'll take it. With that live stream in the background. I wonder what the tone is going to be. Are they just going to show
Cloud, let us defy destiny.
End of 7 remake,
Yeah.
Gonna drop plate number 7.
integrate stuff?
Yuffie.
What the? This'll be amazing.
Oh, this is gonna be the announcement to Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, it's showing PC.
Yeah. I just saw the Z. Yeah.
That's already
yeah.
available on Epic. It could be Steam.
Yeah,
Could be.
but I'm not your sister.
Oh, Rufus.
Let the hunt begin.
That was a fun fight.
Carla, welcome.
Surrender to the darkness. Embrace it.
This is just wrong.
What's the word?
Available on Steam.
Available on Steam fucking tomorrow. That's huge.
皆さんこんにちは。
Oh.
ファイナルファンタジー7 25周年放
Oh
送。
no! Now I don't have any
ファイナルファンタ
subtitles.
ジー7 25th アニバーサリーセレブレーションの
Me either.
案内役を務めます北瀬義則です。この放送では
German.
Yeah, you have to turn them. You have to turn them on. Yeah, mine was automatically on German. You have to turn them on and play.
短い時間ではありますが、皆様にお伝えしたい最新情報がたくさんありますので、ぜひ最後までお付き合いください。
That was calm and collected transition to get
最
those
初にご覧い
subtitles.
ただいたのは
I was freaking out a
ファンタ
little
ジー
bit.
7リメイクインターグレードの Steam 版の配信決定のお知らせ
People have
で
been
した
asking for this for so long.
スティーブンユーザーの皆さん、お待たせいたしました。ついにこ
Carla
の日が
with the
やってまいりました
bits. Making me feel so good during the celebration.
Final Fantasy VII リメイクはおかげさまで皆様に大変高い評価をいただきました。昨年は PlayStation 5版、そして PC 向けには Final Fantasy VII リメイクインターグレードを Epic Games Store で発売いたしました。この度 Steam でリリースすることで、さらに多くのプレイヤーの皆さんに楽しんでいただきたいと考
Yeah,
え
I
ており
bet
ま
this is
す。
going to be a fucking big seller for them.
また Final Fantasy
Oh,
VII
sick.
Oh, nice. Steam Deck compatible. Yeah.
すでに一部地域で発売されている Steam Deck に
That's
も
awesome.
対応いたします。
Yeah.
Do you have a pre-order for a Steam
Steam
Deck?
Deck なら
No,
場
I'm
所を
not really
選ばず
interested.
気軽に本作を
I've got a
楽しみいただけま
reservation,
す。
but it's not. It says I'm not up until like
さて
fall.
Nice.
続いては
It would require leaving the house, you know?
25周年に関連した情報をご覧くだ
Yeah,
さい。
that's true. That's also very true.
Oh, yeah. Listen to that. jam.
Merge. Jake's about to spend a bunch of money.
You guys might notice this from the intros to my streams.
I
This is
remember the
$200
clock.
fucking dollars. I would already
Yeah.
own it if it wasn't such an insane price for this dope little clock.
Is it gonna show that new Yuffie stat or the new
Gross.
Tifa statue that like?
The one where she's
Have you
in
seen
the
that
blue
super
dress.
raunchy? There's a super raunchy Tifa statue that's like
Yeah, blue
first
dress
party.
Tifa.
I can't remember.
Just give me like a dope tee, like a 25th anniversary commemorative tee.
Oh,
That'd be
that's
it.
limited to certain units. You can see it on the back there.
Final Fantasy VII ring. Ooh, but that's cool.
Available on streaming platforms. That's nice.
Oh, nice. New arrangements too.
I listen to Final Fantasy VII music while I study a lot.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. You're right. I could buy it with the bits that I've been getting.
FF7 25周年ファンの皆様と楽しめるようさまざまな試みを準備しております。楽しみにお待ちくだ
There's
さい。
lots to look forward to. Why do you keep saying
それでは
this?
FF7 モバイルタイトルの情報
Alright.
を続けてご覧ください。
From some of the mobile games, plural. All right, First Soldier will be in here, which is already out. Give me that Ever Crisis. This is First Soldier, which is in season 3 right now.
Wow.
But it's got the right length for seasons. It's not like Halo. If they announced this was coming to console with like full controller support, I'd probably be pretty interested.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
You can actually play it with a controller. I had it set up for a while where it would feed into my OBS, in fact, from my iPad, and I could play it with a controller, but it still was like, you know how it is. You're pressing
Yeah.
commands to input on-screen button prompts and stuff. A bit of a pain.
Yeah.
And a pain in the ass to set up with all these dongles
Dude.
and shit.
When PUBG Mobile was big, I played that like crazy. Played a ton of PUBG Mobile.
All right. You said titles, plural.
It's gonna be that other one, yeah.
Ever Crisis. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is brand new. Angeal, all right, that's Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core.
You know, whap, bap, pow, bam.
Okay, there's some headway being made on this. Playable Zack. So they're at least 2 episodes into this thing right now. We got regular Final Fantasy VII and Crisis Core. And then the actual battles are like
the
taken from
heck?
the 7 remake engine. It's fucking crazy. It's got like 2 distinct art styles.
That's weird.
Yeah. This is a way deeper look at gameplay. I'm gonna need somebody to unpack this that's better than me. I need a 2-hour YouTube cut of that menu system. Summons, we got Shiva. Oh, did you see that
Tifa!
outfit for Tifa? And
Yeah.
Aerith? Look at this shit.
Oh.
Microtransactions,
Dang, man.
please. I'm in.
I'm about to spend a bunch of money on that.
Okay,
Tifa
this is
outfit.
further than we've gotten in 7 Remake. That was
Oh, no.
Nibelheim burning.
Don't spoil it. I don't understand. Who the heck is Lizard?
Blizzard. Yeah, this is Remake 2 territory.
I'm looking away because I don't want to
Oh
get
my
it
God.
spoiled.
Oh, Tifa in the cowboy outfit.
Cowboy Tifa.
Cowgirl, I suppose. You're gonna charge another $70 for Remake 2? Yeah,
Absolutely.
as they should.
Why would they
Remake
not?
1 was a full. Oh, baby. Teasing some Advent Children stuff. Date, maybe? Some more info? Closed beta test this year. Okay. It was originally supposed to come out this year. We'll take a beta test this year.
And that's all for today.
ファイナルファンタジー7ザ・ファーストソルジャーの新情報とファイナルファンタジー7エバークライシスの最新映像をお届けいたしま
Much
す
better look at Ever Crisis.
続いてはこちらをご覧ください
Now let's take a look at something
FF7 フ
else.
ァンの皆様には
Delight
きっと
Final
喜んでい
Fantasy.
ただける情報になるのではないでしょうか
This is it, Jake.
もちろん私自身も非常に楽しみにしております
This is it.
Deep breath.
I lost the bet.
It could be
Boy, oh
either.
boy. The price of freedom is steep.
Oh,
I think
Is
it's
this the
Crisis
prequel?
Core.
Zach speaking.
it doesn't look like full out Final Fantasy VII remake levels.
I think it's Crisis Core.
It's showtime.
Yes,
Yeah.
baby. But it's Remake 2. No, this is straight up Crisis Core.
Yeah, I don't think this is remake part 2.
He went missing during a mission in Wutai.
You know, I've never actually seen you use that. Don't
Oh,
you
baby.
think it's sort of a waste?
Use brings about wear, tear, and rust, and that's a real waste.
It uses this dope roulette system on the top left where you're literally like spinning slots and kind of gambling your way in battles. It's such a unique system. It's really fucking fun. It feels like Final Fantasy VII, but it feels like its own thing.
This is definitely also on last gen.
Possibly.
Project G gave birth to
If it isn't, they're struggling with the graphics and
Project Genesis.
Settle down.
God, this game is sick.
What do you know?
Shit, lapdogs!
looks good. Looks
Yeah.
fun.
So few people got to play it, yet it's still really well regarded. This is, I think, really exciting for
Heaven?
some casuals.
Not quite.
Oh,
Hey yo,
Church.
By the way, what is your dream?
mommy.
To become first? Is it?
No, to become a hero.
Ah, Unattainable dreams are the best kind.
Embrace your dreams. And whatever happens, protect your honor. As soldier!
Tell me 2022. We need something to save this year.
Reunion.
Ooh, fantastic name.
Yeah, that's solid.
This
This winter.
winter. We'll fucking take it.
Nice.
Not locking into 2022 that soon.
さて、次の映像が最後の情報です。
Oh, I thought I won, Jake. I thought I won, but here it comes. I'm not gonna win.
What we've done,
Yep,
that's
that's
set in
it.
stone. The past is forever. But the future, even if it has been written,
Let's
can be
fucking
changed.
go.
So focus on the future, not the past.
Oh my god. Meteor.
He wants to finish what he started.
Oh wow, that looks good.
He wants to reclaim his birthright
Oh,
and rule over
That
oh,
flashback.
1,000 meters. Look at it. Look at the compass
yeah,
at the top. There's a-
gigantic.
Oh.
Good call.
Yep.
I saw you lying there. I figured it was too
Is this
late.
gonna be standalone?
Wait, what are you implying?
What do you mean,
That I
standalone?
died? That I'm
There's a
some kind of
lengthy
imposter?
flashback sequence.
Oh, you think just the flashback's gonna be standalone?
You were here with me
Maybe not.
5 years ago.
I mean, I don't know. You know better than I would.
What happened to you?
I'm trying so hard to find you.
Sorry. Feel like I failed you.
Oh, baby.
Rebirth.
Yup.
Not called remake
kn-
part 2.
I knew they were.
Still
Oh,
win.
get the fuck out of here!
I still win.
I knew they weren't gonna call it remake part 2. I think I made that prediction a
yeah,
long time ago that it would be like remix, rebirth. Each one would be a different re something.
ファイナルファンタジー7
Yeah.
リバースを発表させてい
Fuck yeah.
ただきました。現在チーム一丸となって
That's awesome.
鋭意制作中です。
Next winter.
2023,
リメイクプロジェクトの
or it could
発
be.
表時から複数作にわたって展開することを
お
お伝えしておりましたが、ファイナルファンタジー7
Three-part
parts.
series.
ファイナルファンタジー7 リ
Are you gonna give us the
Remake,
title of
rebirth,
it?
そして
and
その先のもう一作の
and
全3部作で
no one
完
knows.
結することをお知らせいたします。まずはファイナルファンタジ
Yes,
ー
baby.
7リバースを楽しみにしていただき、
My most
ぜひ
anticipated
本プロジェクトの完
fucking
結まで
game.
お付き合いいただければ
Like
と
Kingdom
思
Hearts
います。
Yeah, I feel like
Rebirth.
every game is your most
それ
anticipated
以降
game.
も皆様にお楽し
Yes.
みいただけるようチーム一同尽力してまいります。
Hell
本日はお付き合いいただきましてありがとうございました。
Nice.
tight little package.
Well,
That's pretty nice.
that's
Two
awesome.
big games.
I still think I won the bet since it's not called remake part 2. But that's awesome. I'm
Not
so
a chance.
glad
Not a
ファイナル
chance.
ファンタジー7
No,
Alright.
that's an L for me, but it's also a dub for me. Let's be honest. I'm
Yeah, for
excited.
everybody wins here. All right,
ご覧ください。
let's scrub this a little bit.
What we've done, that's set in stone. The past is forever. But the future, even if it has been written, can be changed. So focus on the future. not the
Treehorn
past.
says, I know this will be disagreed with. I'm glad I'm not
Wants
as
to
into this
finish
as a
what
lot
he
of others, because
He wants
they
to
can get
reclaim his
absolutely
birthright
screwed if they think I'll pay
and rule over the
$210 for a
planet
remade
with
game.
Genova at his
Uh,
side.
Bad shit take, and I feel bad for anybody that has it.
Yeah, I think that's a bad
To,
take.
to remake the game at the scale that they're doing,
Wait,
one game just
what are you
certainly wouldn't be
implying?
enough. And
That
it's
I
not
died?
remake part
That
1
I'm
and part
some
2.
kind of
They're now calling it
imposter?
remake and rebirth, which I think signifies an even greater thing, where each of these is a standalone thing. It's like
here with me.
playing. It's like saying
Yeah.
I'm not paying the full price to watch A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and
trying
fucking
so
Return of the
hard to find
Jedi,
you.
because they're all one story.
Sorry.
They definitely
Like I
justified
failed you.
making it into 3 different
Ooh.
parts. Like, I think it's justified.
どうぞ。
I
Definitely.
mean, the first game, remake,
Forever.
which
Is-
was
But
the like just
Remake's
the
4 hour,
prologue,
40
right?
hour minimum.
So focus on the
They-
future, not the
They
past.
made the prologue of the base game into a 40-hour game. You know,
Yeah, for
Finish what
sure.
he started.
it's totally worth it.
He wants to
So this is a
reclaim his
flashback.
birthright.
They're going to
ruled
Nibelheim,
over
I
the
believe,
planet
which is
with
Cloud's
Genova at his
home
side.
thing. Good call out on the length, the distance of that open world there. I think we're getting
Yeah.
an open world
Saw you
Final
lying there.
Fantasy here.
I figured
Yep.
it was too late.
Wait, what are you implying? That I died? That I'm some kind of imposter?
It looks good, very
Yeah.
pretty. Also,
For sure.
I don't know if you noticed at the
God,
end, it
what
was
she's
PS
saying that I died, that I'm some kind of imposter. There's a lot to unpack here, which we will do on our episode of Final Fantasy VII Spoil List, because there's a lot of stuff that we can
Sorry.
dig into,
Feel like I failed.
especially with
We-
the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
We can totally dig into it, but
you know what?
in a way
Because
that
I
is
feel-
spoiler-free for me.
Because I feel so bad for the people in chat that don't seem to think that this is a warranted thing as far as the game being remade. I think it's worth, at this point, the game has been out for 2 years. We're well past the Final Fantasy VII spoilers. I think at this point it is fair to tell the world that Final Fantasy VII Remake is not a remake, and I'm not saying that just to like defend the price of the game. It is not a one-for-one. I mean, obviously it's expanded upon and everybody knew that, but the Final Fantasy VII Remake story is not a remake of Final Fantasy VII. And the word remake, in fact, if you reach the end of that game, means something
like
completely different. It's
like a reimagining.
It's not even
Kind
a
of.
reimagining, in a little bit, especially this first part. But really what it is, and this isn't like, I'm not stretching here, Final Fantasy VII Remake is actually Final Fantasy VII 2. It is a sequel, and it follows the same story beats, at least for like the first 2/3 of that video game. But Final Fantasy VII Remake is not a one-for-one recreation, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rebirth, whatever chronology you're going to call this, is a vastly different story that serves as a sequel. There's stuff going on that's revealed in the last act of that game, and
Yeah.
story beats that are hit that are not seen whatsoever, and it is blatantly explained to the player and the person that's following the story that the events of Final Fantasy VII happened, and what's taking place in the game that you're playing right now, Final Fantasy VII Remake, is a completely new story, and there's twists and turns and things that you are probably not expecting. If you're out on it, if that still doesn't sound appealing to you, I urge you to listen to the spoil list that we do, so that we can really like break into that and talk in depth about those changes and what it means for the franchise going forward. Obviously, the first like two-thirds of that game, first half, I would say, follow it pretty much beat for beat with just a couple little touches of shenanigans sprinkled in to make you think, okay, something different is perhaps going on here. And then in that last thing, it is explicitly explained what is actually at play, and it is a direct sequel to Final Fantasy VII.
I will be honest. They might have explicitly explained a bunch of things at the end of Remake. That was not explicitly enough for me because I really have no idea what's going on half the time in that game. But I
Well,
enjoyed it.
That's because you're playing. Listen, there's a way to knock it as far as like marketing goes on it, because you were playing what you thought was a remake of the game, and it is in fact a sequel. So you're watching Empire Strikes Back without watching A New Hope. You know what I mean?
Well, and my thing is, I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed it without playing the others, and I think it is a full game. You know, it satisfied me. I wasn't mad that I paid $70 or $60 for it,
right?
Thinking it was gonna be the entire storyline. You know,
But there
I
are
enjoyed
definitely
what I played.
intricacies to the story. That entire like last chapter must have just been like batshit insane, except for the good guy fighting the bad guy.
I have no idea what was going on, but it makes me want to play the next one to get some answers.
Right. Heard that.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. What a.
So I guess we got to figure out when we're playing Intergrade, huh?
Yeah, and when we're recording the thing, what we'll do is we'll take things one beat at a time. The next time that you'll see Kaulin and I will be on our next podcast. Real quick, while I do outro, will you just Google, did Dragon's Dogma get a sequel announced during their little event that was happening concurrently? Or chat, do any of you guys know? So we're recording a game list this weekend that's recapping all of the events of Key 3, this E3 era that we just sort of lived through. We'll be giving impressions and breaking down all of the different shows that we were viewing. We had Summer Games Fest. We have this event here. We did the PlayStation State of Play. We did the Xbox Bethesda Showcase. No announcement, Treehorn. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Goddamn. No bueno. People were really excited for that. So we'll have that podcast going up this weekend after we record it. And then, oh, you see to the contrary 9 minutes ago? Maybe Dragon's Dogma 2?
Actually, I'm also starting to see stuff now.
Nice.
Yeah, there's Dragon's Dogma 2.
Cool.
Yep.
We'll recap that as well when we hit our next podcast. So that'll be this weekend, weekend of like the 17th, 18th, 19th, somewhere in that range. Then we'll have a regular game list proper that will be standard. There'll still be plenty of news to go over, but we're just kind of chopping it up a little bit so that show isn't 5.5 hours long, or even worse, only 3 hours long and not in depth enough. But that one will have our, hey, what you been playing conversation. It'll be a little bit more of the thing that you're used to around the first of the month for our July episode of Game List. After that, perhaps plans for the month of July to do our spoilers for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that will include streams of the Remake integrated package, which, Kaulin, you haven't played yet, but you're on the hook
I haven't.
now.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Yeah, we'll probably do it the same way that we did Outer Wilds. One of us will play, the other one will commentate. Maybe I'll play this time. I already own it. That way it saves you a couple bucks and you get the full experience.
Oh, well, you see, I kind of want to play it, but we can deliberate.
Listen, I think I'd rather... I am somebody who, like, if you can't tell from me hosting a podcast, I'm big on imparting my impressions onto other people, like Kurt and Treehorn in chat that are now rethinking perhaps playing some Final Fantasy VII Remake on Steam, newly announced.
Or you made their minds that they're never going to touch
this
it.
motherfucker
No,
getting
he's
combative on his own Twitch channel. You won't naysay my game.
Never.
But I think I'd be more than willing to have you play that. And then, oh man, my mind is going a mile a fucking minute. What's my name? Jake Twitchin? Something like that? What's yours?
Jake Twitchin. Colleen.
I got mine right. You got yours wrong.
Well, technically they're both right. But
I'm Jake Twitchin at Jake Twitchin on everything, like twitching without the G. He's Kaulin, aka Kaulin. Sometimes it has an underscore, sometimes it doesn't. If you're watching this, you should be able to find us everywhere that we exist. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Thanks to my Twitch chat for putting up with me and watching this with us. Thanks to you watching on YouTube. If you're not already subscribed, hit that game list option in your, I guess, the game list search. Search for game list in your favorite podcast app. All right, take us away with your final. No, I'm taking the final words.
Yes. Thank you.
I don't have any.
Oh,
Rebirth.
you get on to me every time.
Rebirth.